All right. So what we're going to cover is the interview scorecard. This is what you're going to use when you do your in-person interviews for hiring your movers and drivers. So I'm going to walk through this, explain it, how do you score this, and how to use this to have objective and quantitative analysis to your hiring. So this is a one-page document. I'm going to actually start at the bottom because at the bottom, we've got all the steps through your interviewing process. So step one is going to be building rapport, just getting to know the applicant, ask where they live, family, hobbies, etc. Then you'll transition into the company, and that's where you do an overview on, where the business got started or the story of it, stats, accomplishments, and then explain core values. That is probably the most important part of that section, is explaining your core values. Step 3 is introductory information. So you're going to review the answers they gave to the phone interview questionnaire. And if there's anything there that you need to know more about, that's your opportunity to bring those up, such as schedule, potential start date, any job experience, things of that nature. Step 4 is going to be a skills assessment. This is optional. If someone says they have mover experience, then you're going to want to test their skills. And so wherever you're doing your interview, just have typically a standard chair is a really good piece of furniture to ask someone to wrap, and make sure you have a couple pads right there in the office, some stretch wrap, tape, but don't give them all those supplies right away. Have them set to the side and just give them the pad in the chair, and then see if they ask you for shrink wrap or tape or bands. And that gives you knowledge and insight onto where their skills are as far as mover technical skills. Step 5 is going to be the interview questions and scenarios. Okay, this is where you want to spend the bulk of your time. You'll likely have time for probably 5 to 10 of these, depending on the applicant's responses. And this is where you're really collecting a lot of information. You want to make sure that the applicant's speaking probably 80% of the time and you're speaking 20% of the time. Step 6 is the explanation of your promotion ladder, perks, and opportunity. You may frame this differently, company to company, but this is basically where you're going to promote the opportunity. This is where you're going to really make it attractive, and you want to lay a foundation for what they can potentially expect if they get hired. Step 7 is going to be a wrap up and next step. So this is just where you make clear on when they're going to find out a decision and steps from there. So those are your interviewing steps. Above that is your scorecard. So if you look at the table, you have some criterion, and there's 5 different categories that we're going to rate our movers. Okay. Number 1 is going to be mover technical skills. Now, if the person has never done moving, then you basically know what to rate them on that. But if they have moving experience, you're going to use the skills assessment and rate them on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay. All 5 of these categories are rated on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. Okay. So part of this, when you rate these criterion from 1 to 5, it partly is going to be experience, and more interviews you do, the better you're going to get at rating. But use your best judgment. So you're going to rate their technical skills, and number 2, you're going to rate their situational awareness. Where you're going to draw that from is going to be when you ask the interview questions and scenarios, specifically scenarios. So you may give a applicant a certain, what would you do if, give them the scenario and see what they say and rate them on that situational awareness. That is really the problem solving abilities. Number 3 is interpersonal skills. This is going to be something you're rating all along the interview. So from the very beginning, how well do they shake your hand? Do they look you in the eye? Do they speak well? Do they are they well mannered? Do they have your attention when they're speaking? all these different things into interpersonal skills. Number 4 is going to be teamwork. So this is going to be something that you find out through the deeper questions and asking them things of how they work within a team environment. Number 5 is going to be attitude. Attitude, this is another one very similar to interpersonal skills, and you're going to be gauging this as you're going through the interview. And the way that you really measure this is somebody, do they have a willing personality? Are they driven in a sense? And when I say attitude, that's really, are they a go-getter? Are they really trying to get a position? Are they a positive person? Or are they a negative Nancy? Right? So those things go into attitude. And what you're going to do, you're going to total up your interview ratings for a total score. So at the top left, the maximum score you could get is a 25, 5 times 5. And so add up each category and then give them an overall score. And then over to the right, you do have space for commentary if you want to write any notes. In the middle, we have a driver criteria section. This section should only take you a minute, but you'll go through and mark, do they have a valid driver's license? Are they 25 years or older? Do they have a clean driving record? And then if they have some commentary to that, you have room to write that. Do they have a DOT medical card? If not, do they have a plan on getting one? And lastly, do they have box truck driving experience? And you would mark how many years or how much time they have for that. Your driver criteria is going to be what you base off of for your crew leaders, truck captains, drivers. All those are the same thing. And you couple that with the overall scorecard rating to determine what quality of an applicant you have that you're interviewing. So that is how you use the interview scorecard and going through the steps of your in-person interview. Hope that helps. See you at the top.